Welcome. I'm Commissioner Hakimi, and tonight I'll be presenting this event. I'd like to start this event with giving recognition that we are on the unceded ancestral homeland of the Ramaytush Ohlone peoples, the original inhabitants of the San Francisco Peninsula. Thank you for being here for this momentous and historical gathering, marking the first ever designation of month of March as the Iranian American Heritage Month in the city of San Francisco, and first of its kind in any city or county in the United States. Being a good Iranian daughter, I'm going to start by giving a special thanks to my beautiful mom, whom I stand here because of her never-ending love and support and continuous belief in me. And my magnificent partner, Dr. Ghazal Karimpour, who keeps holding me through the thick and thin and allows me to do the work I do through her ongoing support and encouragements, and being my voice of reason when emotions step into the room. And on that note, if I get emotional at any point today, please bear with me, as standing in front of you today as your co-host with Mayor Daniel Lurie is one of the most significant and honorable moments of my adult life. A year ago, when I started to work on engaging the City Hall on a conversation about dedicating month of March as the Iranian Heritage Month, Iran American Heritage Month, I could have never imagined standing in this glorious house of the people, celebrating this historical moment for our community with all of you, while carrying such deep sorrow and agony for our Iranian American community and our families back in Iran. As our community has been navigating the complex emotional journey of dealing with an unprecedented war this month, and while preparing to observe our most significant cultural heritage celebrations marking our New Year Nowruz, on March 10, 2026, the Board of Supervisors of the City of San Francisco unanimously voted the designation of March 2026 as the Iranian American Heritage Month. This first ever designation in this entire country was introduced by Supervisor Dorsey and co-sponsored by 7 other supervisors, including President Mandelman and Supervisor Mahmoud, with the full support of Mayor Lurie's office. This would have never happened without the relentless support of the staff in both Supervisor Dorsey and Mayor's office, who once again proved that in our city, we stand with our communities despite the politics of the day. I'm excited to share that because of our organizing committee's advocacy, on March 12th, the City of Beverly Hills also issued a certificate of recognition to the Iranian American Women Foundation, proclaiming March as the Iranian Heritage Month, and I understand that the City of Irvine will be doing that in the coming weeks. We hope that we can continue to get more cities to adopt similar resolutions. But before I start the program, I want to thank Mayor Lurie for his continued leadership and commitment to ensuring that our city carries on with its tradition of representing and uplifting our diverse communities no matter the national politics. And I want to thank his team for doing everything possible to work with our organizing team to make the process smooth and easy, with a special shout out to Angelina, whom without her I would have never even dared to ask for this. I wanted to thank Supervisor Dorsey for standing with our community and giving us the opportunity for this historical designation. And I also want to thank his team, particularly Mahnaz Abadi, whom without her guidance, without her guidance and unwavering support, this would have never been possible. I also want to thank the supervisors, particularly President Mandelman, Supervisors Chen, Walton, Wang, Filder, Mahmoud, and Melgar for their co-sponsorship of the resolution. I want to extend a special thank to our Lieutenant Governor for accepting this invitation to be here with us. And also want to thank all the elected officials and Chief Dean Crispin for being here with us today. On behalf of the organizing committee, I also wanted to thank the team for the Hafzin spread that you saw outside that was made possible by our dear Mariam Ahmadi, and our delicious Nowruz cookies that I really recommend you all try. It's all homemade, courtesy of Lite and my mother-in-law, Mahnaz Jannati. Last but not least, I want to thank the amazing organizing committee that answered the call to action and came together with each of their expertise and resources to make this the most amazing journey despite all of our pain and sorrows during this last few weeks. My dear friend and colleague, Mariam Modorgu, who is a phenomenal partner to work with. The amazing and talented Allah Ebtekar, who has been an honor to work with, and you all will find a little treat on your seats from him. It's very special, so don't lose that. The incredible community leader, where's Mariam June? Mariam Khosavani, who through her foundation sponsorship, the Iranian American Women's Foundation, this event was made possible. And last but not least, our dear amazing Roshi Aga, who despite knowing she is not going to be here this week because it's her daughter's wedding, she committed all her time, resources, and organizational skills to make sure we keep moving to get to this place and to date. On that note, I am going to move on to introduce our first special guest, Ambassador Eleni Konlakis. I always, please forgive me. The 50th Lieutenant Governor of California and the first woman elected to that office. From 2010 to 2013, Lieutenant Governor served as President Barack Obama's ambassador to the Republic of Hungary. In 2015, she published her acclaimed memoir, Madam Ambassador, 3 Years of Diplomacy, Dinner Parties, and Democracy in Budapest. Prior to her service, she spent 18 years as an executive at one of the California's most respectable housing development firms, AKT Development. Throughout her career, she serves and continues to serve on numerous boards and commissions, including California's first 5 commission, the San Francisco War Memorial, San Francisco Port Commission, and the Association of American Ambassadors, and currently is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. On a personal note, I have a story that I would like to share, if that's okay. I got to know our Lieutenant Governor by a complete coincidence. One day when I walked into my 6th floor office at the Francis Ford Coppola building, and I realized that that entire floor had become the headquarters for her campaign. I got to witness her fierce advocacy and commitment through her campaign and her leadership firsthand with her team. And when she was asked by our dear Mariam to join us as our guest today for this momentous event for our community, she accepted with no hesitation when everyone else was still navigating how to show up for our community at this very complicated political moment. And for that, I thank you on behalf of all of our community, and thank you for being here. And I present to you our Lieutenant Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Masa. Thank you, Masa. What a wonderful presentation. Can we please have another round of applause for Masa? It is a great honor to be here with all of you, with so many city leaders, supervisors, commissioners, head of protocol, former head of protocol, our friend Miriam, of course, members of law enforcement who've joined us, my friend Bobek, who runs the San Francisco Democratic Party. Where are you? There he is, everyone, if you don't know him. But truly, it's a great honor for me to be here with you as we recognize the extraordinary contributions that Iranian Americans have made and continue to make to the great state of California. This gathering is all the more important given the ongoing conflict taking place in and around Iran. And I am sure that all of us here today hope that as the month of Ramadan comes to an end and as Nowruz approaches, that somehow peace can be restored and the fighting brought to an end. I'd like to also begin by thanking and congratulating Mayor Lurie for his decision to proclaim for the very first time ever that March in San Francisco is Iranian American Heritage Month and for hosting this special event. For decades, too many Americans have not known enough of the richness and the depth of Persian and Iranian history and culture. I say that except for the Greeks, because the Greeks have always known. And as a side, let me just say, after the historic rivalries of millennia past, that in the world today, the friendships between members of the Iranian and the Persian communities and the Greek American communities are some of the strongest bonds I know, and nothing is more emblematic of that than my very dear friend, trustee of the War Memorial, Farah Makris, who is married to one of my childhood friends, Victor Makris, and you prove the friendship between the Persians and the Greeks every single day, Farah. But truly, recognitions such as this are a very powerful way to elevate the history and to weave Iranian culture into California's great fabric of diversity. The Iranian American story in California is, at its heart, a story of resilience, entrepreneurship, creativity, and service. Many Iranian Americans arrived here during times of great uncertainty, particularly after the Iranian Revolution of 1979. Families came seeking opportunity and the chance to build a better future. California, especially cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Jose, became home to one of the largest Iranian diasporas in the world and by far the largest Iranian diaspora in the United States. And today, years later, Iranian Americans are truly great leaders of our society. In business and technology, Iranian Americans have played a vital role in building California's innovation economy. Entrepreneurs and engineers have helped shape companies that define Silicon Valley. And across the state, Iranian American founders, venture capitalists, scientists, and innovators continue to launch startups, drive research, and create jobs. In academia and science, Iranian Americans are among the most highly educated communities in the United States. Their leadership in fields as engineering, medicine, and computer science have strengthened world-class institutions, particularly our system of higher education in California, which in and of itself is the leader in the world. So many of the breakthroughs that have come in these fields have also come because of the contributions of Iranian Americans, and they have benefited all Californians. And in public service and civic leadership, many Iranian Americans are helping to shape the future of our democracy, something Bobek knows very, very well. Across our cities and communities, more and more Iranian Americans are serving as elected officials, educators, nonprofit leaders, and advocates working to expand opportunity and strengthen civil society. The cultural contributions are equally profound. Iranian Americans have enriched California's arts, literature, film, and cuisine, sharing centuries, millennia-old traditions while shaping contemporary culture at the same time. Celebrations such as Nowruz have become vibrant community events across California, symbolizing renewal, unity, and hope. But perhaps most importantly, Iranian Americans embody the values that define California at our best: diversity and perseverance. We are reminded every day that our state's strength comes from the people who bring their talents, traditions, and dreams from every corner of the world. So in closing, let me just say how proud I am to be here with you this afternoon to represent our great state of California and, of course, as a San Franciscan, and how proud I am as well to be sharing the podium with so many remarkable Iranian American women of this community. California is stronger, more dynamic, and more prosperous because Iranian Americans call it home. Thank you.
Thank you to our fabulous Lieutenant Governor. It is really great to have you here. Our next speaker, I got to meet Parisa 2 days ago. And what an inspiration. It is my absolute honor to introduce our keynote speaker tonight, Parisa Khosravani. She's a multi-Emmy, Peabody, and Edward R. Murrow award-winning veteran journalist and executive. Through her career as a senior vice president for international and national news gathering and the first global ambassador of the CNN worldwide, Parisa directed historical coverage of countless award-winning news stories and was responsible for editorial, operational, and financial response of the bureaus, correspondence, and coverage of historical events around the world, such as the fall of the East Bloc, the earthquake in Haiti, and the war in Syria. After nearly 3 decades of her career at CNN, Parisa left the company in 2015 and has focused her efforts for advocacy for autistic individuals and to change a perception and understanding of non-speakers and to give the voice to the voiceless. Parisa speaks globally on the topic and is now especially involved with her son's publication of his first book. And with that, I introduce to you Parisa. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. These 3 principles are what I was raised with and grew up with as a Zoroastrian. Zoroastrianism originated in Iran and is one of the world's first monotheistic and oldest living religion, around 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. Simple, yet profound and all-encompassing. Giving the right to every human being to make their own choices in life. The ultimate self-determination and equality, with the personal responsibility informed by one's conscience. In other words, every human being's innate ability to distinguish between right and wrong, choosing good over evil and light over darkness, all of which are the most important prominent concepts and major tenets emphasized in Zoroastrianism. Each one of us is impacted when wrongs are being done to our fellow human beings. As the Iranian poet Saadi wrote in his famous poem Bani Adam, which is now inscribed at the United Nations, human beings are members of a whole in creation of one essence and soul. If one member is afflicted with pain, other members uneasy will remain. If you've no sympathy for human pain, the name of human you cannot retain. We're all one, and as beings on this earth, when one suffers, the ripple effect of that suffering impacts all of us at some point or another. Right now, Iran, our motherland, is suffering under this regime, and we suffer with her. In recent months, Iranians went into the streets in masses, fighting for freedom, dignity, and their most basic human rights. Protesters across Iran went into the streets knowing they may get killed, and yet they were relentless in showing courage beyond imagination. The people of Iran have been living under tyranny for 47 years, and the regime showed its brutality once again. Within 2 nights this January, tens of thousands of Iranians were killed while protesting against the Islamic Republic. Tens of thousands have been imprisoned and tortured. We will one day know the shocking numbers and the scope of this historic crime against humanity committed by this anti-Iranian regime that murders at any cost to stay in power. Iran has always been sacred to us. She has now risen to a new level. In every street where mothers and fathers held the bodies of their slain children who were massacred while peacefully marching for their freedom, in every corner where blood of young and old marked where they had fallen, fighting to free Iran, they're all now sacred ground. Our ancestors would be proud of each and every one of them who gave their life to free Iran. The folk heroes that we read about in our most famous Shahnameh, the Book of Kings, would be in awe of these brave souls who went up against machine guns with their bare hands. Rostam, Sohrab, and Gordafarid, these legendary characters in Shahnameh, would bow at their brave feet. Stories will be written about countless fallen heroes. Let freedom and peace reign on our ancient land and its brave and resilient people. Today, we proudly gather here to honor our heritage and its ancient history. Mayor Luri, thank you for your vision, appreciation, and recognition of our Iranian culture and heritage. On Friday, we celebrate Nowruz, our New Year, the first day of spring and a new beginning, a celebration that dates back over 3,000 years, with symbolisms which highlight life, health, renewal, strength, and much more. Nowruz is a time for family, hope, and optimism. May it be the start of a year that brings freedom to Iran. I am a proud Iranian American, if you can't tell already. Throughout the years, as I grew up in the States and followed my passion for journalism and traveled the world, meeting popes, presidents, and everyday people, I would always proudly introduce myself as Iranian American. I am proud of our 2,600-year-old heritage and what it has contributed to the world through its rich history. Kurosh Bozorg, known to the rest of the world as Cyrus the Great, would conquer lands and allow its people to keep their traditions, languages, and worship freely. After the conquest of Babylon, he freed its exiled people, including the Jews, to return to their homelands and rebuild the temple. Kurosh, Cyrus, gave the world its first ever human rights charter, which recognized individual rights of freedom to keep their language, freedom of worship, and freedom of movement. This was more than 2,500 years ago. Magna Carta was written nearly 1,800 years later. Thomas Jefferson was an admirer of Cyrus the Great and studied Cyrus as the founding fathers wrote the Bill of Rights over 200 years ago. Ancient Iranian civilization pioneered groundbreaking technologies for water management, refrigeration, windmills, postal systems, engineering and infrastructure, science and medicine, trade and business, and not to mention poetry, literature, and arts. And don't forget our delicious food. As expats in more recent years, we have also done quite well in this country and around the world. This makes me think that if for all these years in the US, the Iranian diaspora had all introduced ourselves as Iranian Americans rather than just saying Persians, there would be a much greater awareness and appreciation for Iranians, who we are, and what we have contributed. As you know, folks don't always equate the two, and in many cases, they don't even realize they have met or known an Iranian, and that's our fault. No one can represent us better than ourselves. I want to go back and add an important note about Iranian history, not just as a proud Iranian American, but a proud Iranian American woman. In its rich history, Iran has also had women as kings, Turan Dokht and Azarmin Dokht. They were both kings of Iran. They were not just a wife or daughter of a king. These women ruled and led as kings. The Shirzans of Iran, the lionesses of Iran, have never stopped fighting for freedom. I want to interject a little about me here. As a former journalist and news executive for nearly 3 decades, my joy and passion for journalism was giving voice to the voiceless and shedding light on oppression and injustice. I feel all that work was to prepare me to be a mom to my amazing son, Payam. Payam is autistic and non-speaking. He started communicating reliably when we tried a method called RPM, which built his fine motor skills to be able to spell out his thoughts letter by letter. I tell you all this because each one of you likely knows someone or have a loved one on the spectrum and should always presume competence. I'm a big advocate, as is Payam, for his peers, or as he calls them, the other silent champions. I also tell you this because Payam has typed a short message for you today. Quote, "The topic of giving voice to those that can't or can't easily speak for themselves is the theme of my life and my honor to highlight. Although I've never visited Iran in person, it is my dream to do so. I am proud of the traditions my ancestors have passed down. Iranians navigate their struggles as one. We lead with love and respect. Time to celebrate our roots and rise together. Payam." End quote. I wish all of you a happy Nowruz and remind all of us that each one of us can be the light in darkness. We can create our own positive ripple effect with good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. I wish our motherland freedom, peace, and prosperity with this poem from our childhood. Abad bash, ey Iran. Azad bash, ey Iran. از ما فرزندان خود دلشاد باش ای ایران. مرسی.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
That's all right. We'll see the tape.
Thank you so much for such an inspiring speech. And Payam, thank you for your message. So our next speaker, the host of this event, does not need an introduction. However, I know that many of you today are here because you want to meet him. And you always ask me about our mayor. I can go on and on about the amazing progress we have seen in this city since he took office last year. It is tangible. But I'd like to share with you, there's one thing about him that stands out for me the most, that he walks in every space with his humanity first, and his willingness to listen and learn about the diverse communities he represents in this incredible city. You also see that reflected in the work of his team in the way in which they engage with the communities. His love of our city is so genuine that it has inspired many to come back to San Francisco and take a chance in reinvesting again and join his vision of making sure the world understands why we San Franciscans are so proud to call this place our home. He has engaged a global audience who gets to experience our day-to-day life through his continued appreciation of the things that bring him joy throughout his social media that he publishes every day, while showcasing our diverse community and things that are really special about San Francisco. I have had the pleasure of serving under his administration as a commissioner and have witnessed firsthand his commitment to making sure all our communities are uplifted and that this city continues to stand on the right side of history despite the ongoing political pressure. And today, we would have not been here if it wasn't for the mayor's support. And this is a testament to his vision and commitment of uplifting all of us together. So let's go, San Francisco. And I would like to introduce Mayor.
Thank you, Masha. Thank you, Commissioner. I want to thank you all for gathering here today. Thank you for that eloquent speech. Really appreciated listening to it. I want to thank you all for gathering here today to recognize Iranian American Heritage Month in San Francisco. This is your building as much as it is anyone else's building. And today we recognize a community whose culture and people have enriched our neighborhoods and our city. You all here today, and Iranian Americans across San Francisco, our business owners, our artists, our teachers, our community leaders, you all make this city stronger. Your contributions are part of what makes San Francisco vibrant, and we are better because of those contributions and because of all of you. Now, we all know this gathering comes at a moment of terror and uncertainty at home for many of our residents, at a time when families are watching concerning events unfold far from home. I want to say this clearly. San Francisco stands with our Iranian Americans and our Iranian community, full stop. Our city, you all know this, our city has long been a place where people come seeking safety and freedom to express who they are. In San Francisco, we always celebrate different cultures and we treat everyone with respect and with dignity, and that will never change. This recognition of Iranian American Heritage Month is meaningful because it reminds us that even during our most difficult periods and difficult moments, wherever you are in the world, our community here in San Francisco endures. Masa, I want to thank you for your leadership, for helping organize this celebration, and the civic leaders around us today, including our electeds. Lieutenant Governor, it's always an honor to be with you. Supervisor, Fire Chief, Board President, thank you all. Our city, as we know, is stronger when we stand together and when we look out for one another. Whatever may happen going forward, know that our city is here for you, and that San Francisco will be a place that will continue to honor and to celebrate Iranian culture, community, and all voices, especially your voices, are welcomed. Thank you. Yeah, Beta? Where's Beta? Beta, oh, there you are. Come on up. Will you come up here and get a certificate of honor? I'm sorry. Thank you. Masa, how are you?
Thank you, Mayor Lori, as always. Love being in a room with you. So, to many of you, our next speaker also does not need an introduction. I have known Bita for the past 2 decades, as our paths have met many times in our community because of her philanthropic work and my involvement with legal and community work with various organizations and enterprises. I have witnessed her work from those early days to now, and I can say that she's truly one of the most impactful community members. I have met so many in our community who were given a dignified immigrant experience because of the amazing work and services of her Pars Foundation, and for so many men and women who were given an opportunity for a normal life in the United States because of her commitment to them. In preparation today, I had the honor of having to go through her years of community service and commitment and all her accomplishments, projects, collaborations, all of that for the last 2 decades, and learn so much more of the human being that she is. And I had to cut so much to be able to share her bio in this limited time that we have together. Bita Daryabari embodies the spirit of humanist philanthropy. Her commitment to her Iranian American community through her generosity and her multifaceted philanthropy are founded on the idea that creativity is the only way to elevate suffering and enable our minds to better comprehend the human condition. Ms. Daryabari is founder of Pars Equity Center, a community foundation that has committed to social, civic, and economic integration of immigrants from Persian-speaking and other underrepresented communities into American society since 2010. In addition to Pars Equity Center, in 2008, she created a Bita Daryabani Endowment in Persian Letters at Stanford University and Bita Daryabani Presidential Chair in Iranian Studies at UC Berkeley, enabling the universities to offer extended classes in Persian languages and literatures and conferences and events. The endowment also established the annual Bita Prize for Persian Art, the annual Bita Prize for Young Persian Artists, and the Daryabari Visiting Professorship for Persian Literature. Bita has also generously donated to a number of other universities, particularly those working on Iranian studies. Bita's commitment has not been limited to the Iranian American community. Through her unique Zan Foundation, she has been working with numerous charitable organizations since 2005 to elevate and empower women through global education and health initiatives, including her collaboration with Afghan Institute of Learning to build an all-girls school in Kabul before the downfall of Kabul. Thank you. Among other recognitions, she is a recipient of the honorary doctorate in human letters from Golden Gate University, my school, World Affairs Council Honorees of the Year, Ellis Island Medal of Honor, the United Nations Appreciation Award for outstanding leadership, commitment, and support of the UN and achieving the UN Millennium Development Goals. So with that, I invite Peter.
Good afternoon. I don't think I deserve this beautiful, kind, and generous introduction, but I really appreciate it, Master John. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. I'm deeply honored and truly grateful to the Mayor Lurie for this recognition. Thank you, Mayor, for your leadership and celebrating Iranian American Heritage Month in such a meaningful way. At a time when Iran is going through such painful and uncertain days, I'm especially grateful for the moment of recognition and solidarity with the Iranian American community. My sincere appreciation to Commissioner Mahsa Hakimi, the Planning Committee, Iranian American Women Foundation, and its founder, Maryam Khosravani, for sponsoring this event and for bringing our community together with such care and intention. Also, thank you, Parisa John, for your beautiful and insightful talk in honor of Iranian American Heritage Month. This recognition is not just about me. It represents a generation, and now multiple generations of Iranian Americans in this country beginning in 1979, seeking freedom, opportunity, and the ability to live without fear. Many came to California to escape the dictatorship of Islamic Republic of Iran and to build lives rooted in liberty and human dignity. I am one of those immigrants. I came here young. I went to school here. I earned my bachelor's and a master's degree from Golden Gate University. I worked for many years right here in San Francisco on California Street, Spear Street, building my professional life step by step in this city that believed in me. San Francisco did not just educate me or employ me, it shaped me. It gave me opportunity, community, and a sense of belonging. San Francisco Bay Area is not simply where I live, it is my home. Research has shown that Iranian Americans are amongst the most highly educated immigrant groups in the United States. Education has always been central to our identity, not only as a path to success, but as a responsibility to contribute meaningfully to society. Philanthropy and giving back are not new concepts for us. They are deeply embedded in Persian culture and history going back thousands of years. The belief that we rise by lifting others is woven in our heritage. It is in our blood. It is how we honor both our past and our future. For the past 47 years, Iranian Americans have contributed not only through philanthropy, but through leadership in science, medicine, academia, entrepreneurship, the arts, and especially here in Silicon Valley. We have helped build companies, lead innovations, create jobs, strengthen the economic and cultural fabric of California. But beyond achievement, what truly defines our community is resilience and heart. We know what it means to leave everything behind. We know what it means to start again. And because of that, we carry a deep gratitude for this country and deep commitment to give back to the society that embraced us. Today, I accept this award not only on my behalf, but on behalf of every Iranian American who has worked quietly and tirelessly to serve this city and this nation. And I dedicate this award to the next generation so they continue to lead with integrity, compassion, courage, and generosity. Thank you, San Francisco, for being my home. Thanks to my family, my husband, my kids who are here today. And thank you for all of you guys who always supported me in helping others. And thank you for honoring the rich heritage we proudly carry while fully contributing to American story. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow. So I was asked to close today, so you have to bear with me for the next few minutes as I try to wrap all this up for you. I stand here today full of complicated emotions. As a proud Iranian American resident of the most magnificent city on earth, and I say that I really believe that, San Francisco. I stand in gratitude and appreciation of each and every one of you who have made today happen at a very difficult moment, not just for the Iranian community, but all of us as Americans. As an Iranian American, I understand the responsibility of carrying a proud ancient heritage in harmony with the civic and social responsibility in the country and the city I call home. I also understand that being Iranian American is an absolute privilege of having best of two incredible worlds, one of an ancient heritage and pride, one of endless opportunity and potential for growth. I look around this room today and cannot help but to feel proud of the talent, the expertise, the accomplishments, the diverse representation, and the endless potential. But yet I wonder, why did it take us over 4 decades to have this recognition when we have made so much contributions throughout this country? If I get emotional, bear with me, because the next part of this conversation is very personal to me. I lost my father less than 3 months ago on Christmas Eve. I think of him often these days and wonder how he would have held all that is unraveling in the world around us. My father was part of the first Iranian migrant generation who came here 42 years ago after the revolution and during the war. He carried so much pride in our language, our traditions, our history, our poetry, and our art. And he was relentless in making sure I keep the traditions and the love for our ancient land, for the love of our ancient land by never forgetting my proper Farsi. He was relentless about that. I now understand that he survived the sorrow and pain of having to leave his country and his ancestral land to migrate to a country that was hostile to his very existence because of the politics of the day, by keeping his Iranian identity so close to his heart. The 80s was the worst of time for an Iranian in America. And it was so much easier to assimilate and not stand out. Yet my dad persisted and honored our great ancient culture by never stopping to recite the poetry and translate them to any non-Iranian in the room, read the stories of Shahnameh, use every opportunity to teach me about our infamous architecture, the diversity of the land that lived in his soul, and cook family recipes that he had learned from his aunts. But most importantly, he celebrated Nowruz and Yalda, no matter what day of the week or hour of the day fell on. And in the late 80s, as the first generation of Iranian immigrants were navigating their new life in this country, he committed his free time between jobs he was holding just for us to survive, to make sure that the city of Irvine would become known for the celebration of the largest ancient Persian festival of Mehregan, a festival that even Iranians in Iran had forgotten the meaning of this odd celebration and what it was about. But he was also relentless in pushing me to maximize the opportunity that was given to me in this country for getting educated, being a critical thinker, and understand the privilege of the sense of belonging that I was given, which my parents had to sacrifice theirs for my future. Today, we gather in this magnificent city hall to make the first Iranian American Heritage Month because of the unwavering love and commitment of our parents and our grandparents, like my dad, who taught us to hold our heads up as proud Iranian Americans. But with that, we also carry the responsibility, as we are a bridge between our parents who were born in Iran and our children who are born Americans. We teach each generation through the lived experiences on what their priorities should be. And as a diaspora community, at a pivotal moment in history, we carry even a larger responsibility of teaching our next generation how to embrace true pride of an Iranian ancestry while preserving democracy and critical thinking in this country by encouraging them to take part in civic and social fabric of our cities and this country. And today, we have officially marked the path for our next generation. The designation of a Heritage Month is a significant act of official recognition that validates the history, culture, and social contributions of our community who has been part of the fabric of this country and this city for the last 5 decades. We finally belong in the history of this magnificent city we proudly call home. It serves as a dedicated time to amplify our community's contributions and educate the broader public, giving us opportunity to change the negative mainstream narrative and the harmful stereotypes of the Iranian American community by shedding light on our rich traditions and diverse community that is part of a greater society in this country. It provides a sense of belonging and affirmation for community that our contributions matter to the wider society. It also provides a platform for advocacy, highlighting ongoing issues for our community and allowing us to be part of the social and political and economic decision-making that directly impacts our community. But most importantly, it brings us together to celebrate and highlight our history and our ongoing contributions to the greater society. On behalf of our organizing committee, we invite you to stay engaged, stay in touch, and consider supporting the projects and initiatives in the pipelines that we're exploring as we begin our work for launching next year's Iranian American Heritage Month. In closing, at these very complicated times for our diaspora, where our Iranian and American identities are forced into conflict rather than harmony, and as we start observing Nowruz this Friday, while we all are navigating a very emotionally difficult journey, I invite us to seize the moment to step into our daily life in this place we call home, standing on the core ethical principles of our proud ancient Iranian heritage and spread by practice through our community and beyond the 3 pillars of the most important teaching we all have been taught as Iranians: Pendar nik, Goftar nik, Kirdar nik, good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for being the bridge. Thank you for being the catalyst for change. Nowruzetun Piruz, Happy New Year, and may light overcome the darkness.